If you're overwhelmed, lost, or breaking open in ways you didn't expect, you're not alone. A day on the path is a space for people who are waking up spiritually while trying to survive real life. In this video, I share how fear completely paralyzed me, and I also share my insights about fear's purpose, along with the spiritual tools that help me move through fear. What I learned is this: fear is trying to teach me something. And I also learned that it might not be teaching me what I'm expecting to learn. After deep research and a nudge from my intuition, I think I have a different take on what fear is here to do. It isn't something we eliminate or conquer once and for all. It isn't something to talk about in therapy for endless hours. Rather, it's here to teach me. Is it possible that fear is a catalyst for growth and opportunity? In my experience, fear often closes me down. I become immobile, frozen, and later I can ruminate over it endlessly. I spend time lecturing myself and reminding myself that I could have handled this better and that better and this situation better. Recently, I had a frightening and difficult encounter with my neighbors. I ended up panicking and fell silent and allowed them to badger me in a way that I couldn't recover from. I was completely scared of them. Pure fear. Standing on the asphalt in the summer heat, my neighbor starts yelling at me and saying, "You've hit my car. Are you running from this? Is this a hit and run?" And his partner says, "Oh, you're the neighborhood idiot and completely mentally ill. And get your dog off my lawn." The badgering, the unkind words, and the escalating tension caused me to be nervous, and I became instantly afraid. Mostly, I was afraid of what they'd do next. Their scouring faces, along with two different dialogues running loud and fast, prevented me from getting my bearings and grounding myself. It was almost impossible to keep up with the rage, the name calling, the speed of the neighbors' severe and mean spirited berating. I was trying to understand what had just happened, but they were yelling and screaming and using language that was distasteful, unkind, and way harsher than was needed for this specific event. I had touched his bumper by accident. I had just purchased a car with a backup video camera, and I expected to hear a beeping sound as I got closer to the vehicle. And this didn't happen. When I looked in the rearview mirror, I was too close. A small event that resulted in a small scratch on his bumper, not even an indentation. It didn't warrant the crazy verbal assault. In the moment they were yelling at me, I remembered all the shitty things they had done to me. These flashback memories added to the feeling of panic. Ultimately, my intuition knew that this incident would not end well for me. I didn't know what they would do, but I did know they would do something. Amidst their double-fronted tirade, I suggested, "Let's call the cops." And the meaner one said, "I'll decide what's next. Give me your insurance and I'll determine the next steps." After handing my insurance details to them, I went into my house and I melted into tears. I did document the accident and I sent it to my insurance company, as I didn't know what they would do over the coming days. But I did know they would escalate. They were aggressive, and I knew they would escalate. 2 sleepless nights later, a police officer knocked on my door and said that the neighbors had accused me of targeting them. I didn't understand what this meant. And he said I was targeting them with my car. I said, "I don't understand. How did I target them?" The officer said they claimed I was targeting them because of their sexual orientation. I was perplexed because they weren't anywhere near their vehicle. They weren't even in the front yard when I was backing in. How do I know? Because I always scan to see if they are around. The officer asked me a few questions about the relationship, and I answered him. He then told me that I needed to protect myself from them. He said, "They're trying to escalate our neighbor dispute from a civil to a criminal case." When I heard this, and as I slowly digested it, I became truly scared. Pure fear settled over me and permeated each cell of my body. I started to shake. The officer gave me some advice on what to do next and suggested I act on this advice immediately. I protested, but I did follow the advice. Things didn't end as I'd hoped. In other words, I didn't get the results that the officer had predicted. And when I didn't get the results, my fear escalated even further. I spent the following weeks ruminating and lecturing myself for parking in front of their house. I should have parked elsewhere. But the street was full and I didn't see them in the front yard, so I figured no harm. To calm down and ground myself for the coming weeks, I used several techniques I was familiar with. I researched more techniques as I needed something quickly. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I wasn't even leaving the house for fear of encountering them. My cortisol was flowing in overdrive, and the ruminating continued. Constant self lecturing. "You stupid idiot. Why didn't you park elsewhere? Why did you park there?" And so the battle with myself progressed for about 3 weeks. Eventually, I turned to some tools that I've used in the past. One is shadow work. My state of panic didn't respond well to this long exercise, so I researched on the internet and found tapping techniques. A bit useful, but didn't produce the results that I'd hoped for. I was still experiencing panic. Some examples of my panic. When I was walking the dog, I kept scanning the area, fear encountering them. As they had previously tried running me down with their truck, I just couldn't shake them. When I went into the backyard, I was scared that they would approach while my back was turned. They'd done this in the past and they had threatened me. In the end, I installed cameras on my house and I put one in a vulnerable spot on the side of the house. It was a spot where they'd come to berate me and threaten me in the past. The encounter with my neighbors was a challenging one. It resulted in a litigious or court proceeding that cost a lot of money without end results that would provide security or safety. But the real peace of mind came from my meditation, chakra clearing, and the biggest was from forcing my mind to a neutral place when I panicked. When I started ruminating, I'd consciously say, "Oh, look at the bird, look at the tree." And this distraction helped me find neutrality. As time progressed, I started noticing that the flower was beautiful. I noticed the sense of the flower. I took a couple of weeks, but this helped me to let go of the pattern. I continued to meditate. I continued to clear energy in my chakras. I also revisited Jeffrey Allen. Jeffrey Allen teaches techniques where you simply use energy to clear the pain or the block in the body. In my third eye, I then visualized my chakras as free of panic. They were cleared of this terrible experience and the fear that was associated with it. I visualized a zipper and a cocoon, and I zipped up from the bottom of the zipper, from the bottom of the cocoon to the top. This kept my chakras safe and clear of the energy of my neighbors. Something like a butterfly cocoon, if you will, hoping that I would emerge as a butterfly. My intuition was telling me to protect the panic-free space metaphorically, and this seemed to help. During this time, I had incredibly intense dreams when I did sleep, and I documented and researched these dreams. I was looking for a symbolic understanding. The dream showed a progression of complete fear and panic. The understanding of the dreams and their symbols seems to help the ego settle. I've calmed down quite a bit since I started doing this. I concluded a few things from this experience. I'd finally stood up for myself. Though the situation didn't end the way I wanted, I did find self love and I did stand up for myself. I set a boundary. On the spiritual side, I had questions. Did I attract this energy to myself? Is this past karma and has it come to punish me or serve me as payback? Is this part of my soul agreement? And here are the answers that came through to me in meditation. You are not attracting this type of negative event because of your energy. You have a soul contract that agrees to support and teach people. There are moments when you can make a different decision and change the direction of the outcome. But ultimately, even if you successfully change the direction of the event, another situation will arise that generates a similar outcome. Whatever your role is in this situation, you will not be able to bypass it. And during one of my meditations, I heard, look what you've learned. You finally came to self love. This entirely crazy process resulted in you standing up and loving yourself, dismissing the extreme things being said about you. This was a gift or a silver lining from the situation. You don't believe that others say about you. You understand what's deep in your soul, your purpose. I try to reconcile these messages with my beliefs. It's challenging because I often live or function in a space of lower vibrations, of fear, despair, and regret. This is a very recent experience, and I start here because it helps me to step into an authentic space. I've been on the journey of fear, regret, and anger for over a decade, and sometimes I feel like I might melt down completely. But I honestly believe that my explorations into the esoteric are propping me up and helping me to find a spiritual evolution, or maybe it's a spiritual understanding. If you're looking to learn more from someone else's experience through their darkness, please give my channel a like, and I'll be back to share more.